guys, welcome back to my channel. So today we're going to be chatting about a whole bunch of new beauty launches for August. I'm going to be sharing my thoughts, whether or not I'm planning on picking any of these things up, or I'm putting them on my wish list, or if I personally am going to pass over them altogether. I film one of these videos every single month. They are inspired by Samantha March's Will I Buy It series that she does every single Wednesday. So if you don't know who she is, I mean, I don't know how you don't know who she is, but I will link her channel for you guys in the description box of this video in case you'd like to check it out. And yeah, normally I do these videos a little bit later in the month, but there was so much stuff to talk about that I got impatient and I didn't want to wait, so here we are. So this first thing isn't actually even a product, it's just news that I am super excited about, and I don't think I've officially announced it in a video here on my channel. So Nabla Cosmetics is finally being carried at Ulta. When I saw this news, I basically just about died. I have been saying for probably over a year now that I've been really wanting Nabla, which is an Italian brand, to be sold at some US retailer, and honestly, I couldn't have picked a better one than Ulta, because I can use my points. So right now there's only a limited selection of products available from the brand on the Ulta website. They're not being sold in stores at this time, which I'm guessing it's because they're kind of trialing things out. I'm hoping in the future they'll start to carry more products. Maybe they'll become available in stores. One can only hope. And surprisingly, 5 out of the 6 products that are available I actually haven't tried. They have their liquid lipsticks available, their brow pencil, their mascara, their liquid eyeliner, the Poison Garden palette, and then this baby right here, which is the Secret palette. This is the newest eyeshadow palette launched from the brand, or well, I guess, no, I take that back. Their newest eyeshadow palettes are the Cuties palettes, which are little 6-pan palettes that are part of their summer collection. This was their most recent, like, full palette launch, and I've used this guy on my channel a bunch of times now. I actually did a video where I did 3 looks using this one palette. I also used it in my Nabla Cosmetics try-on haul when I bought a whole bunch of stuff from the brand back in May. So if you have not heard of this, you haven't seen it, you're a little bit curious, I will link those videos for you guys up here in the cards in case you'd like to check them out. But I've really loved the quality of their eyeshadows. The mattes are so pigmented, but also so blendable. They're beautiful, so easy to work with, and this palette, I mean, it's just like a jewel-toned paradise here. There's so many beautiful colors. There are also plenty of neutrals to like anchor a look. You can do so many things and create so many completely different looks with this palette. It's a lot of fun. Needless to say, I'm really excited about this news. I don't know if I'm going to run out and buy the other Nabla products that are available right now. I'm kind of keeping my fingers crossed that they're going to bring some of the summer collection before summer is over to Ulta, but we shall see. So moving along, apparently this is the summer of foundation. I feel like we had the spring of concealers. Like, concealers were a huge thing at the beginning of this year, but this summer I feel like all of a sudden a ton of, especially more high-end brands, are all dropping foundations all at once. I have 7 new foundations to talk about, and I am sure that I'm missing something. Now, I really love complexion products, and I especially love wear testing foundations and concealers because your girl has super oily skin, so I feel like I'm like a good person to play the guinea pig, test things out, put those claims of being long wearing and mattifying to the test. But foundation is also, you know, kind of expensive, so there's absolutely no way I can purchase like all of these, nor do I feel like that would be a good idea because, you know, I have plenty of foundation on hand. I would never be able to use 7 new foundations up in their entirety before they expired. So at this point, I'm thinking I may pick up one of these new foundations, and it's just gonna be a matter of which one I ultimately end up going for. So the first one on my list is the new Dose of Colors Meet Your Hue foundation. And I will say, when I saw that Dose of Colors was launching a foundation, it really excited me because in general, I've been a big fan of Dose of Colors. And while I haven't seen a ton of reviews yet, the ones that I have seen seem to back up my gut instincts. Now, as far as a little bit of information on this guy, it is a $36 foundation. The Ulta website says it has 5.4 fluid ounces of product, but I'm pretty sure that's a typo because I can't imagine any foundation would have 5 ounces. Like, that's like how much you would expect to get in a cleanser. So I'm thinking it's probably supposed to be 1.4 ounces, not 5.4 ounces. Either way, it looks like it's pretty much industry standard, has a nice glass bottle, has a pump, very kind of chic, classic, Dose of Colors-esque packaging. It comes in 42 different shades, and it's supposed to have lightweight, medium to full coverage with a blurring effect on the skin. It doesn't seem like it's supposed to be like overly luminous or overly matte. It's kind of supposed to be right in the middle, more of like a natural satin kind of finish on the skin. And that definitely appeals to me. I like things that feel lightweight. My favorite level of coverage is medium to full. I like something that's buildable so I can be completely glam if I want to, or kind of sheer things out and make it a little more daytime wearable. And I like the look of a satin finish foundation on me, but again, being really oily, I have to be careful because some satin finish foundations, especially ones that are a little bit richer and a little bit thicker on the skin, end up looking super greasy on me. Now, Mel Thompson did review this product. She seemed to really like it, but she did note that she saw some of her oils peeking through the foundation by the end of the day, and she is not a super oily skinned person, so that makes me a little bit worried. I honestly wish I could get a sample of this product. Unfortunately, it's only available online, and Ulta doesn't really offer you the ability to like make a sample the way you can at Sephora. So either way, I kind of feel like I wouldn't really be able to properly try this without actually buying it. So this one definitely has me intrigued, but I kind of feel like it may be better for me in the fall and winter months when I'm not so oily. So I may hold off on purchasing this guy until later in the year. Then next is the new Pat McGrath Skin Fetish Sublime Perfection Foundation. This is by far the most expensive new foundation launch that I'm going to talk about, and possibly one of the more expensive foundations I've talked about ever. So this guy is $68. You get 1.18 fluid ounces of product. It comes in 38 shades, and it's supposed to be this very super long wearing, sheer to medium coverage, natural finish type foundation. What I've heard from people who have reviewed this is that it really makes your skin looks like skin when you apply it. It doesn't really look like you're wearing makeup at all, and yet at the same time, it evens everything out and kind of like covers what you need to cover. So to me, it sounds like it would be pretty beautiful, especially if you didn't have super problematic skin with a lot of breakouts to cover up. Right now, my skin has been doing pretty well. I haven't been struggling with too many breakouts, so I feel like a sheer to medium coverage, like that would work pretty well for my skin. I'd prefer to have less makeup on if I don't need it, but $68 is, that is a hefty price tag. Now, in true Pat McGrath fashion, the packaging is absolutely stunning. It looks very, very luxurious. Still, for me to justify spending $68 on foundation, I feel like this product would have to look like literal perfection on my skin. And so I'm very hesitant about the idea of picking this up or making this the foundation that I try. Fortunately, Pat McGrath is sold at Sephora. I don't know if my local store actually has this in stock in the store. If they do, I would totally make a sample and actually try it to see how it performs on my skin. I saw Jamie Page do a wear test on this, and she was just raving about how beautifully long wearing it was on her and how natural it looked on her skin, but she's dry. And again, I'm super oily, so I feel like maybe on my skin it would just melt right off, in which case I feel like $68 would not make it worth it. So long story short, if I can get a sample of this, I would love to try it, but I don't think I'm just gonna run out and buy this right now. Then we have the Anastasia Beverly Hills Luminous Foundation. I know this is something a lot of people are really excited about. ABH has come such a long way since them just doing brow products. Their eyeshadows are fantastic. They now also have blushes, they've done highlights, they've done like a lot of different things, but this is their first liquid foundation. They do have a stick foundation, which I did try many moons ago, and I absolutely detested. It was so dry on my skin, and this is coming from an oily skinned girl. I was not a fan. But this, on the other hand, it's a luminous foundation, which leads me to believe it's going to be much more creamy and hydrating than their stick foundation is. So let me read to you a little bit from the Ulta website about this guy. It says it's a water-resistant liquid foundation that creates a luminous, natural finish. The radiant formula delivers long-wearing, medium coverage, yet feels lightweight and looks ultra-fresh. It's supposed to be great on its own, so you don't even need to set it with powder, which is interesting. And it's available in 50 different shades, and they're grouped into 5 different shade categories with 3 different undertones. They also claim that the foundation is free of flashback, that it's not going to oxidize on you, and that it's supposed to have like blurring properties to make all of your fine lines and imperfections and whatnot essentially disappear. So yeah, sounds pretty magical, kind of like all of the rest of these foundations, and this guy retails for $38 and contains 1.014 fluid ounces of product. So I'm not really sure how to feel about this guy, because the first thing I think when I hear the word luminous is like, stay far away, it's not going to work for oily skin, it's going to make me greasy, because dewy finish foundations usually they don't work really well for me. But then they talk about the fact that it has more of a natural finish, not a dewy finish, that it's lightweight, that you don't even need to set it with powder, so like, maybe it's self-setting, maybe it actually does dry down completely and doesn't leave your skin feeling tacky, which maybe would actually work really well for my oily skin. Maybe I could go in and also add on some powder and it wouldn't look cakey, just to give me a little bit of extra shine protection. Another random and very stupid complaint of mine, I'm not really a big fan of the packaging. On the side of the bottle it says foundation in like really big bold letters, and it kind of looks a little tacky if you ask me. But I mean, like, Anastasia Beverly Hills in general is such a classy brand. I was a little confused as to why they would do that. I heard from someone that it was supposed to make it easier if you're an actual working makeup artist to like see that it's a foundation if you're reaching into your bag because it's so clearly labeled. But then a lot of people are like, the bottle is glass, like you're gonna know if it's a skin tone product that it's probably a foundation just based on the way it looks otherwise. So I don't know, I'm not a makeup artist, I can't really speak to what would or would not be a good idea in that respect. So this is one that I'm kind of like, I'm a little trepidatious about the ABH foundation. Again, if I can get a sample, I would be curious to try it and see how it actually performs and holds up on my skin, but I'm dubious. I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little bit dubious. Now, probably the foundation I'm most likely to get along with is the new Urban Decay Stay Naked foundation. So I actually just swatched this when I was at Ulta the other day. If you're not following me on Instagram, by the way, I've been trying to be a little bit better about posting on my stories, and when I have time, I try to go to like Sephora and Ulta, do a little shop with me series, kind of walk around the store, swatch things, show you what's new. So if you want to join in on the fun, make sure to follow me on Instagram. My link for my profile is in the description box. Anyway, I was there the other day. I did kind of shade match myself to this new Urban Decay foundation, and I liked the texture of it. It is a very lightweight, liquidy foundation. It reminds me a lot of the Laura Mercier Flawless Fusion or the Nabla Close-Up, and those are like my holy grail foundations, so it definitely bodes well for this new Urban Decay guy. And they describe this as a waterproof, long-wearing foundation that feels like second skin thanks to a breathable, flexible formula that moves with you all day and all night. And it's supposed to have a stay true color, which minimizes the appearance of pores. And it comes in 50 different shades with 9 shade intensities, 3 master tones, and 7 undertones. That seems to me to be very complicated, so I don't know how shade matching for this would go if you were trying to shop online. So yeah, this one definitely intrigues me. It's $39, you get 1 ounce of product, which is pretty much the standard. All of these foundations I'm talking about, with the exception of Pat McGrath, are in the $30-something price point, and they're all about 1 ounce. That's the industry standard. And I feel like if anything was going to work well for my very, very oily skin, this would probably be it. So yeah, I'll definitely keep you guys posted on that one, whether or not I decide to pick it up, but I think for now, it's the top contender. And then there's Fenty Beauty. Now, Fenty is launching a brand new foundation, and it appears 2 new primers. So they're launching both a hydrating and a mattifying primer, as well as a new hydrating foundation. The original foundation that Fenty launched with way back in the beginning had a soft matte finish. I did get a sample of that one and I tried it, but it ended up not being quite matte enough for me. I liked it, but it wasn't something I liked enough to actually go out and buy it, so I don't actually own that guy. But I know a lot of people that had dry skin said they definitely couldn't use it because it was too dry looking on them. So I think Fenty Beauty is kind of answering those people's prayers, and now they're launching a hydrating foundation that's geared more towards normal to dry skin, which is definitely not what I need. So this is something I'm most certainly passing over. This guy is going to be launching on August 15th. It's $35. You get 1.08 fluid ounces of product. And unlike the original Pro Filtr foundation and all the primers, this guy comes in like a squeeze tube. It's cute. I actually like the packaging, but it's interesting. I'm kind of surprised that they didn't keep it the same kind of like glass bottle with a pump style as everything else. So this one, they say it's supposed to be hydrating and long wearing with medium to full coverage and a natural finish. So if you do have normal to dry skin, maybe this will be right up your alley. I know Samantha March actually just did a review of this with a wear test, so if you guys want to know what it looks like, I will link her video for you in the description box down below. And actually, on that note, I will link any reviews I've seen on any of these products in the description box for you guys in case you want to check them out. So yeah, I think the launch makes sense. I think a lot of people are going to really like this, but I personally am definitely going to be passing it over, as well as the Pro Filtr Hydrating Primer, because I don't really need a hydrating primer. That one is $32. And then the Mattifying Primer, which is also $32, comes with an ounce of product. And it says that this is supposed to fight shine all day, smooth the look of pores without feeling tight or dry. And you can use it paired with the original foundation. That's kind of what it's geared towards. And it's interesting because I'm trying to figure out like, how is this different from the original Retouch primer? Because that one also describes itself as kind of mattifying and smoothing the look of pores. So I'm going to guess that it's just supposed to be a step up, like a little bit more mattifying. But I don't know, I'm kind of surprised that they decided to launch a mattifying primer because it seemed like the original one already kind of did that. So if you end up trying any of these new Fenty primers, the new foundation, definitely leave a comment and let me know what you think of them. I'm curious. I don't think I'm going to pick any of them up just because none of them are really speaking to me personally, but like especially if the mattifying one ends up working miracles, like I'd really like to know that. Next, we have a foundation that I haven't heard anybody talking about. I just happened to see it on the Ulta website, and then when I was at the store the other day, I actually saw the display with the new foundations out and I was playing around them a little bit. So Flesh Beauty is launching their new Pure Flesh liquid foundation. Previously, they only had a stick foundation and they were super teeny tiny. They looked like a sample size blush or something like that. But this guy comes in like a full 1 ounce frosted glass bottle. They retail for $32 a piece and it's available in 40 different shades. Now, what definitely intrigued me about this foundation is that it's water-based, so it doesn't have any silicone in it, which to me I feel like would be kind of nice because while silicones definitely smooth the texture of your skin and make things look more airbrushed, I personally find as a person with oily skin, my skin gets more shiny when it's covered in too much silicones. I feel like they kind of clog my pores up and my pores freak out and they're like, get out of me. So they crank out more oil to like flush the silicone out of them, if that makes any sense. So part of me wonders if using a silicone-free, like a water-based foundation would actually work better for my oily skin, especially in the summer. Now, they say that this is supposed to be medium coverage with like a natural finish, but when I actually like pumped some of this onto the back of my hand and applied a little of it to my face, I found it to be quite sheer. It was very watery, which I think is to be expected, and it went on very dry. Like it dried down fairly quickly and goes on quite matte. So while I wasn't blown away by this, I'm still a little bit intrigued just because like, you know, applying something with your fingers in the store is not the same as sitting at home and applying it with a brush or with your sponges. I also hadn't like put any primers on my face. I had just like, you know, put on my moisturizer and sunscreen, and it had been a few hours since I had done that. So my skin wasn't like super well prepped before I went in and put the foundation on my face. So I don't know. I'm kind of like, I kind of want to try it, but then at the same time, I'm like, what if it ends up just being totally sheer or it looks really dry or flaky on my skin and I end up hating it? I'm a little bit torn. It did seem like it was really, really very lightweight and very breathable on the skin, which I liked. It doesn't have any added fragrances or anything like that, so it's supposed to be better for sensitive skin. So I don't know, I feel like this is like the runner-up to Urban Decay. I think I trust the Urban Decay a little bit more just because the coverage of that one did look a little bit more intense than this guy. But the silicone-free thing, it definitely has me intrigued. And the one last thing before we move on, if you're considering picking this up, I would highly highly recommend going to the store and shade matching there, because the little online color descriptions and color depictions are terrible. Everything looks so much darker than it actually is. The lightest shade of this foundation is super, super, super pale, and it does go very, very, very deep. But most of those light to light medium shades make you think that you're going to be getting something too dark, but when I actually went to the store and was swatching things, they were so much lighter than I thought they were going to be. Okay, and the last foundation, geez, we've been here for forever just talking about foundations, is the Milk Makeup Flex Foundation Stick. So this guy I just heard about today. It looks like it's going to be launching on August 6th, which is tomorrow, on the Milk Makeup website, and then it's going to be available August 9th on the Sephora website. It's $36. I have no idea how much product you get because it didn't say on the Milk Makeup website, and it's not yet listed on the Sephora site. And it comes in 36 different shades, which for a stick foundation, I don't think is too bad. So this guy is interesting because it's supposed to have properties that actually calm the skin and reduce redness. It's also silicone free, so again, intriguing. And it's supposed to be very hydrating for the skin. It has medium buildable coverage, and in general seems like it's gonna be a pretty easy formula to work with and to blend out. Now, if you watch my videos with any kind of regularity, you may be well aware that stick foundations and I don't get along very well. I've tried many different stick foundations, and they always either end up being weirdly too dry and difficult to blend out, or they end up being too creamy and too hydrating, and they just slip slide around, they sit on top of my skin, they look really greasy. It's just not a cute situation. But I always love the idea of stick foundation because it's so convenient. It would be so nice to travel with. It would be really easy to throw in your bag for touch-ups. So there's a part of me that believes that there's a stick foundation out there for me, and I just haven't found it yet, or it hasn't been created yet. So I keep trying them and usually keep being disappointed, but I can't help myself apparently. So this guy is no exception. I am very curious. I'm excited to see them in store at Sephora and actually see the texture in person. I don't think I would just go out and buy this having not experienced it ahead of time, because if it is super creamy and the kind of formulation that's just gonna sit on top of my skin, I already know I'm not gonna like it. Okay, so now that we've spent a million years talking about foundation, let's move on to something else. Why don't we talk about eyeshadow palettes? Everybody loves eyeshadow palettes. They're a lot of fun, and there are a few exciting launches coming up. So the first is the new Anastasia Beverly Hills and Jackie Aina collaboration palette. She just posted her official launch release video the other day, and I'm so excited for her. I've been watching Jackie for a while, and I think she's hilarious. She creates bomb makeup looks. I definitely enjoy watching her videos, and I am 100% going to be supporting this collaboration and getting this palette. And even putting Jackie aside, I just like the palette. I think the exterior packaging is really cool. It's kind of like a snakeskin pattern, but it's holographic or iridescent. It has a duochromy or multi-chromy kind of shift to it, which you guys know, anything duochrome, trichrome, I'm all about that. And then the shadows inside are really pretty. They definitely lean more on the wearable, colorful side of things. There are a lot of sort of pinky mauve tones. There's some really cool shimmers. There's a vibrant purple. There's a duochrome, blue-green kind of shade. There's another lighter kind of duochrome, gold-green. There's a really cool, shimmery, bright kind of orangey coral. And when I look at that color story, I'm like, oh yeah, I could work with you. There are so many looks that I'm already thinking about creating with it. And I'm honestly not afraid that the shadows are gonna be too deep, that they would be unwearable on my lighter skin. It seems like the kind of palette that would work for pretty much anybody. Maybe it will be a little bit challenging on someone with super fair skin. You might have to be a little bit more light-handed, or you might only be able to create more smoky, dramatic looks. Either way, I'm really excited about this palette. I think it will work well for me, and I only have Soft Glam. I don't own any other Anastasia Beverly Hills palette, so for those people who feel that there's shade overlap or that it's too similar to some of their other palettes, that is not a concern of mine. because I don't have any of their other palettes. Another one I'm really excited about is the new Identity 2 palette from Persona Cosmetics. I have talked about this guy a bunch of times before, and I also have raved about pretty much everything Persona Cosmetics has ever released. I think they've made some amazing makeup. So this was actually the first product they ever launched. It was their Identity palette, and it was kind of geared towards being like a perfect neutral everyday palette for brown eyes. I've used this guy a ton. And the new Identity 2 palette, we actually haven't seen the whole thing yet. They've been teasing little bits and pieces on their Instagram. They've been showing us like 2 shades every Monday and every Wednesday. The palette will officially launch on August 8th, so we'll see the whole thing unveiled then. But from the sneak peeks, it looks like Identity 2 is going to be a more colorful palette, but kind of like wearable colors. It's got a lot of jewel tones. I think it's going to be really beautiful. And if the formula is the same as this guy, I'm sure it's going to perform amazingly. So I'm pretty stoked about that guy. I cannot wait to see the whole thing unveiled. I think it's going to be a really beautiful palette. And it is definitely something I would consider picking up just because I love the brand so much. And at this point, I'm pretty sure I own everything that they make. Like, I don't have every single shade of their lip glosses and their liquid lipsticks, highlighters, etc. But like, I own at least one of everything that they make, so why would I not want to complete my collection? And then finally, for eyeshadow palettes, it looks like Sigma's going to be launching a new palette, and they don't do a ton of eyeshadow launches, so this is pretty exciting. It's called the Enchanted palette, and the exterior packaging looks absolutely beautiful. It's reflective. It again has kind of that multi-chrome finish, sort of an iridescent vibe going on with like a floral motif. And inside it looks like it's a mix of matte shades and then these super glittery kind of foiled shades. You also get a brush inside of the palette, which, you know, that is what Sigma is known for. So I'm sure as far as a brush inside of a palette goes, it's probably going to be pretty awesome. But yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I was a little disappointed by this. Like, I was expecting when I saw the exterior packaging that the inside was going to be, I don't know, just something a little bit different than what this is. I think really where I'm confused are the darker shades. There are 5 super deep matte shades in this palette, and I don't understand why they made that choice. And like, sure, you need a couple of deep shades in any given palette so you can, you know, intensify a look, smoke things out, make things a little bit more dramatic, make them a little more friendly to people with deeper skin tones. But this just seems like a lot. Like, there's a very pale cream, then there's like a mid-tone pinky mauve that would be a nice like transition color, and then 5 dark shades. And I'm like, but why though? Like, you could maybe have done with 2 of those and then taken 3 of those shades and done something matte and colorful, do a couple other mid-tones, even something that was just like a hair lighter or more interesting. I don't understand. And maybe this is just the picture. Maybe in person this would look different. So we'll have to see, but that just like, it seems like a waste of shadow. And with this being a $49 palette and it only has 14 shades, if like 3 or 4 of them I would immediately take out, like, that's a pretty significant chunk of the palette. The glitters look beautiful, don't get me wrong. I'm sure they would be absolutely stunning on the eyes. Like, I'm very excited to see swatches and see if they're actually like opaque with pigmentation or if they're more of like a shimmery topper. But yeah, this just confused me a little bit. I feel like with the exterior packaging, I would have expected to see like a matte purple or matte periwinkle, just some other like blue and purple shades, some other mattes that are not just dark neutrals. Like, that just, I don't get that. All right, and then to wrap things up today, let's talk about the new Pure Times Barbie collection. I just saw Tati review this on her channel, and then I happened upon the display when I was at Ulta the other day shopping, and I could not help myself. I had to get one of the lipsticks. I honestly was afraid these were going to sell out and that I wasn't going to be able to get one, so I was just like, whatever, just put it in my cart, I'm going to do it, it's fine. So basically, Pure is collaborating with Barbie because it's the 80th anniversary of Barbie, something like that, so they're doing this collection, and it honestly is pretty stinking cute. There is an eyeshadow palette for $34, there is a highlighter for $25, there is a lip gloss for $16, there are 4 of these lipsticks for $18, there are false lashes for $14, they only come in one style, and then there is a complexion brush for $26, oh, and also a peel-off face mask, also for $26. Now, clearly the thing that called to me most of everything in the collection was the lipstick. I mean, this packaging though is freaking ridiculous. Like, just look at the glittery, shimmery goodness on this. It's so pretty. And basically you push this button, the lipstick bullet pops out of the bottom, has Barbie written all over it, and then the actual lipstick itself is covered in little shimmers, but it swatches entirely matte, so you're not actually getting any glittery finish on the lips, which I actually prefer. Honestly, there's a part of me that's like, maybe I won't even swatch this. Maybe I'll just keep it forever as like a little collector's item because it's just so dang beautiful. I never do that with makeup, but like, I don't know, I can't help myself. It's really, really pretty. And I was, in fact, as a child, obsessed with Barbie. I had like a whole village of them. I had a little Barbie car, I had a little Barbie kitchen, I had little Barbie bunk beds. So I definitely appreciate the nostalgia of this collection, and I think they did a really good job of like channeling the vibes of Barbie. The eyeshadow palette, the colors that are in there are such Barbie colors, and the quality of the actual eyeshadows themselves were okay. I swatched it when I was in the store the other day and I wasn't blown away. I think if you really, really like the shades, like, you could make it work, but it wasn't like the best eyeshadow I'd ever used. The highlight though looks incredible. It's very, very reflective and metallic. If you want like a beaming glow from outer space, that one's really nice. The lip gloss was like, meh. To me, I think it's much more worth it to spend $2 extra and get one of the lipsticks than to get the lip gloss, because it's basically just a clear gloss with a little bit of shimmer, and the packaging is nowhere near as stunning as these guys. And then like the lashes were really cute. I love the little pink glittery box that they came in. I didn't pick those up, but for $14, maybe I would actually order them at some point in the future if they're still in stock. They're a style I would definitely wear. They're a little bit big, but like, I have big eyes, so that's not a big problem for me. And I have used pure false lashes in the past and really like them. They're actually pretty comfortable. The mask and the brush though, I definitely don't think I need. I'm not really into the whole glittery peel off mask thing. I've never really been about that. And the foundation brush looks like one of those paddle style like artiste knockoff foundation brushes, which I have a couple of and I never ever use. So yeah, all in all, I think it's a cute collection. I think a lot of people are going to be really into this. Definitely let me know if you're planning on picking anything up, or maybe you're not a Barbie girl, which is totally okay. Alright guys, so I think that is it for today's video. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. I hope you enjoyed hearing all about all these new beauty launches. If you did, make sure to give this video a thumbs up. I always really appreciate your support so much. I will try to have as much information listed and linked for you guys in the description box as possible. Other reviews I've seen, the products, if you can actually get them, if you want to shop them or you want to check them out for yourself. On that note, I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day, and I will see you in my next video. Bye guys.